Ladies and gentlemen, we got a bit of an update for next season. We saw what moves are getting nerfed. A little bit of their changes are on PvPoke as well. So I just wanted to make a video going over the changes on PvPoke and what is coming next season as far as nerfs, buffs, new moves, and a little bit of just what it means in the meta. And we'll say I did a random amount of work. You'll see here in a second when we switch over to that view of kind of what changes happen basically in PvPoke. We assume they have more information than we do. Obviously, they have the changes up for next season. You can check out PvPoke, and at the top middle, it shows you can see the preview of next season, or if you're already in there, you can go back to the current season. So let's go ahead and get into it really quick. If you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. Helps me out so much on the channel. Let's get into it. This is actually Vergyverg from the future, but we're putting this in at the beginning. I should have definitely put this in at the beginning of the video. So these are the changes we saw at the LA Regional. Their first day of streams, they showed the changes that were coming up. So Scald is getting a nerf to its chance to debuff an attacker, to debuff the defending Pokemon. And we know that it's going from 50% to 30%, so a 20% drop. Not exactly the biggest, but it will obviously make a difference, obviously. Whiscash will definitely lose some rating here. I would guess Poliwrath probably going to lose a little bit too, but Scald is already a good move, and this is kind of the problem a lot of people had anyways. Scald already was a good move. It didn't need a debuff with it, so it's not like it's the strongest hitting move, but it was good enough. Maybe this 20% decrease will change enough, but people already don't like the coin flipping nature of Scald, so to add a secondary coin to it, basically, people will like it more, but when it happens, it'll feel even worse. Spark got decreased from 6 power to 5 power. Really, this is hurting Lantern a lot. I believe this is back to its normal spot, with a little bit less energy than two or three seasons ago when the spark change happened. So Lantern's going to fall a little bit. It still hard counters Skarmory, which is going to be big in this meta. In fact, it's probably going to be even bigger than it was before. Seed Bomb's power increased, which is why we're going to see the Trevenant, Trevenant buffs bring it up into the meta more. All right, hopefully I can explain this to y'all. Okay, so I made a spreadsheet with the current ranks and the future ranks. Don't worry, I didn't do too much work with that. I just copy pasted. Actually, they have it here on PvPoke. You can export to CSV in a different file other than this one. I did all the math for us to just see the data in the end. So what I wanted to see is what were the things that had the biggest change, and then in F I said if these changes were real or not, because like this mon, I don't even know what this is. Well, this thing was the biggest improved thing, low kicks. Don't know what that even is. Don't want to know. It's not good. It was 700, now it's 300. So, oh yeah, let's go ahead and get into just some of the, okay, first of all, this is the current season. Don't worry, I was looking at Scrafty. Don't concern yourself with that. We'll go over Scrafty at some point here. So this is last season's PvP rankings for Great League, Open Great League, and this is this season's. So let's just go over right off the bat. Kind of not a lot of difference here at the top. You see Lickitung's dropped a little bit. That's not very real. Mandibuzz came up a little bit. But these top 6 are still the top 6. Just a little bit of change here at the top. I think Registeel was at the top with Annihilate, and then Cresselia moved up. These aren't real, but we'll go over them. So what's the biggest change to something that's actually going to possibly be usable? And that's basically going to be Shadow Steelix. So regular Steelix is also on there as well. I wanted to look and see if Steelix was a sim hero. And what a sim hero is sometimes, yeah, so like this. PvPoke is saying Steelix should be using Breaking Swipe and Earthquake. So Breaking Swipe, if you bait a Breaking Swipe on an Earthquake and every time on PvPoke they're going to shield it, obviously you're going to come out on top. You're going to be looking really good. Now the thing is, In this new season, if I could type, they're using Psychic Fangs and Crunch. So I don't think it's actually going to be a sim hero in this next season. While it does have Psychic Fangs, which is going to lower the defense, the Crunch is not a big move. It's not like we're going all the way up to an Earthquake and debating the Psychic Fangs. If that were happening, I would say Steelix is terrible. But the fact that they're showing these two moves means that Steelix is probably going to be pretty good. You're going to see this being used. Typhlosion, now it got the new move of Thunder Punch. So how good is that? Well, it's going to give it some play against Azumarils, kind of. The problem is all of the punches, like Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, they're kind of not great. And especially when you're not even having Stab, so same type attack bonus, it's not going to give you that much. But obviously it's giving it some play, but it's not even... You'll see Typhlosion in the first week for sure for people testing it. But if I was to guess, I would assume it's not that great. Now, in saying that, I will test it myself. Because, like I say right here in the column, I'm not sure it'll have play or not. So I need to try to make sure on my own through testing if it's going to be good or not. Regular Steelix, 100% going to be played. So regular Steelix is going to be a lot bulkier than the Shadow Steelix, obviously. So if that bulk's going to win you matchups, which obviously it does give you 37 different matchups compared to the Shadow, obviously it's going to be used, and it's in the top 40, so it's not only is it going to be used like in some sort of fringe sense, you're going to see it a lot. Like let's see in this current season what rank 40 the Mon is. I bet it's something you see like every day. Shadow Dragonair is rank 40, by the way. Yeah, you see this a ton. Probably 3 to 5 sets a day, 3 to 5 times a day on 5 sets, I would say. So that's 20% usage. You're going to see Steelix a lot next season. I saw this one. It says Hypno gained 45 ranks without really even getting changes. So what that means to me is, and obviously I can't go this high into depth on the first day, but we'll see. I think a lot of fighting Mon are being inadvertently buffed through the nerfs that are happening to Scald. That's probably what I should have said before. Scald has been nerfed 20%, so there's a 30% chance for a debuff, which means Whiscash is getting moved from the very, very top ranks of the meta to like mid-meta. It'll still be used a lot. The reason why Hypno's going up, I think, is just random fighters at the bottom going, because 180 are going up. So things like Hitmontop or Hitmonchan. Yeah, these Mon probably get slight upgrades, but this is the sort of ranking that doesn't matter that much. So unfortunately for me, Hypno probably not going to see much. Whimsicott kind of already sees really fringe play. But this might be another thing due to the fighting buffs. I think you'll continue to see it at the same clip. So if you see one every, let's say, 15 sets, I don't know. I feel like I see one every 15 sets. You'll probably still see it at a 1 in 15 set range. A lot of these don't matter. They don't matter. They're hundreds. Pidgeot got a little bit of an increase. This is not the biggest, but it actually is interesting. Yeah, it probably has a little bit more play against Whiscash, probably a little bit more fighters in there. Also, same thing with Clefable. Again, I probably see it at 1 in every 13 sets, so a little bit more often than Whimsicott. And you'll probably see that at the same rate. Trevenant got a huge buff, but it's weird because it's because Seed Bomb's damage got increased. Okay, so it did get a bit of a buff. It already was good against Whiscash, so we have to see how good is it against a lot of the things at the top of the meta. Great, pretty good. Better than you'd think, but not the best. Bad, good, bad, good. Well, for alligators, probably bad, right? Good. So it's really good in the top of the meta, to be honest. It's got some hard counters. It never touches Mandibuzz. Even its counters like Skarmory, it has play against, especially Energy Up. Shadow Ball just hits so hard. In the multi-shield scenarios, obviously you're not going to win any of the zeros unless you have a ton of energy and you can throw 2 Shadow Balls at Skarmory. Yeah, Machamp got a bit of an increase too, and this is what I'm talking about. A lot of the fighters got increased. All right, I had to do a quick edit, and I don't remember where we were. So, while the Machamp buffs are good for it, I think this might be fake. Shadow Bastiodon's up here. I think this is fake, but Shadow Bastiodon obviously usable, but just use regular Bastiodon. Let's see, where's Basti on this list? I think I missed it. It's already ranked 15. Just use regular Bastiodon if you're going to be using some Toxic Mon. Just use regular Bastiodon. Mew's got an increase, not a big deal. 10, not exactly a lot. Deoxys, a little bit of an increase. I don't know if this is real. It's going to be just as good as it was this season. Shadow Registeel, just use regular Registeel. It was rank 1 last season. It's rank 2. Alolan Sandslash actually increasing with some of the fighters going out, and this is probably... Well, it's not Whiscash going down, but Whiscash's prevalence going down, or popularity going down, will give it a bit of an increase. So, Sandslash, you might see it. I don't know. Wobbuffet, this is not real. If you see Wobbuffet 1 every 30 sets, you're going to continue to see it 1 every 30 sets. Or maybe because I've said it in this video, it's going to come to like 1 in 20. Chargebug, this is a real increase. I mean... Its Whiscash matchup is technically slightly better, but not really. 2 Scalds is going to KO you anyways, so this matchup not changing too much. I don't know that this is very real, but it's okay. Mandibuzz, I think we've already seen very good this season. It's ranked 7 next season. It was already ranked 13. It probably was already ranked 7. It was kind of one of the things that was pretty even against Skarmory and Whiscash. Even though Lantern hard countered it, it wasn't exactly like a Skarmory hard counter. You could throw neutral moves into it, which is nice. Glade, I feel like this is a sim hero. It didn't really get better, so I don't know how it's going up. Maybe this is a couple fighters that went up. Machoke, this is fringe to unplayable. Okay. These are some of the big ones that kind of stayed the same, kind of went up a little bit. Medichamp's an interesting one. It won't be the fighter of choice because Annihilate still destroys it, because Medicham nowadays is going to be a dynamic punch Medicham. So Medichamp's going to be better overall against a lot of the neutral stuff, and it's good against like Registeel, decent against Skarmory, bad. His Ice Punch against Gligar is not the worst. So it might have a little bit more play than before, and while it's not one of the ones where it's like if you see it 1 every 10 sets, you're going to continue to see it 1 every 10 sets. If you see it, let's say 1 out of every 15 sets, maybe even 20 right now, it might increase to 1 every 17, so 1 every 3 more sets more than usual. Double is probably going to be a little better, probably a little, yeah. I think it will get an actual increase of usage. These are some more big ones. Not a lot of change for these. Yeah, they went up, but to be honest, not really any real changes here. But they're not bad. They were always good, and they're going to continue to be good. And Empoleon obviously had the buff from last season. Sableye's been one of the safest swaps for like 6-7 seasons. Sableye going to now not have to worry about Whiscash as much, so definitely a real increase there by at least 1. These are some of the bigger ones that got buffed. These all seem kind of like fighters got slight buffs just in general. So these are all good, but kind of the same. The Guzzlord one's interesting because if you think, hey, all the fighters are getting slight increases, then why would Guzzlord go up? So this is going to be some more investigation. Definitely one mon I'm going to try out at the beginning of the season. Guzzlord seems not great against kind of the top meta here. Good against Cresselia, bad against Reggie, bad against Annihilate, bad against Carbink, bad against Skarmory, although it's kind of neutral, but bad. Neutral, good. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like much changed. 2 obviously is not a lot. Now let's go into some of the losers of the of this Whiscash, Shadow Whiscash. I wrote here, and this is interesting because people were already moving towards the Shadow version, so there might not be as big a shakeup as we initially think on the Shadow version of Whiscash, which means that RPS meta from this season might still last through next season because of Shadow Whiscash. Now, regular Whiscash is being almost completely removed from the meta, but it kind of already was on its way out. Some weird losses here, but they're all weak to fighting, which is why I'm saying fighters getting slight increases just from other things dropping is weird. So you saw in Scrafty there, Scrafty actually got worse with the addition of Thunder Punch, which doesn't actually make sense, but if you really think about it, and I had to go into the Sims to really look at it, it used to be a Sim hero in the old versions, meaning that it would throw Power Punch when you got to foul play, and Pokemon would be scared of it and then shield it. And then instead of shielding a good move, they're shielding a bad move, and I'm getting buffed in the process. So I'm getting 2 positives where there should have been a negative. That's what Sim Hero is on PvPoke. The simulations aren't real, or they are real, but they're always best case scenarios for these types of moves. So now Scrafty is probably a solid 60 and will have more play this season, I think. Really good matchups against like Mantine. That's the biggest one. Gonna have a little bit more pressure against Mandibuzz, although kind of liked the Mandibuzz better anyways with the Power Punch, so we'll see what actually happens there. But this 60 is real, whereas this season's 60th rank is real, whereas the 47th last season's rank was very fake. So kind of solidifying its ground or its floor and hoping that its ceiling gets higher. So we'll see. I'll definitely be playing Scrafty, obviously. Whiscash, this is a real debuff. Regular Whiscash was already seeing less and less play last season. Gonna see noticeably less play this season. Shadow Whiscash is the way to go this season and next season as well. This one's actually really interesting. Stunfisk. So Stunfisk is actually more playable than you would think. So what does it do? It beats Cresselia. It's a neutral-ish matchup, but you definitely beat it. It beats Registeel, loses to Annihilate, hard counters Carbink, hard counters Skarmory. Not great against Gligar, but it hits it. I mean, it hits it. Good against Mandy, and then obviously bad against these waters. Good against Bastiodon. So I think Stunfisk is going to have way more play than its rank shows, even though it lost rank, which is weird. So just something to think about. Greedent losing rank, I don't understand this one. Nothing really changed. Greedent is just as safe as it's always been. This is probably I think this 17 is pretty fake, to be honest. Lantern became quite bad. I wrote down, yikes, still playable because people were bringing Skarmory, but now it's going to lose to Reggie, whereas before you could go straight Surf in the Zero Shields, or I think it's Surf and Thunderbolt in the Zero Shields. I kind of forget. It's been a while. And then the Sparks would take out the Reggie in the Zeros, or I think it was the Zeros, and not getting a debuff. And then in the ones going straight Surf, you could go straight Surf with the Sparks. But now you're just going to be dead in the water It's Lantern, it's a Watermon. To Reggie. This is very real. Lantern's going to see less play. But people are still going to bring Skarmory, so you will still see Lantern around as a hard counter to that. And that's kind of all I wanted to go over in this video. Yeah, so those are the changes to this season. I know I kind of just went over a little bit of the actual changes. Swift is also... is it a new move coming into the game? Let's see. A lot of Mon learning Swift, and Swift is a new move to the game. It says it's 55... Oh, no, it's not a new move. It just got a little bit lower in power, but energy decrease as well, which we don't know the ramifications of that yet. As soon as I know that, I can help you out on that one. Oh, I guess I'll show this screen as well a little bit more. So Low Kicks, which is the best new Mon, the most increased Mon in the meta, according to my spreadsheet. Oh, let me go back to the top. 400 ranks increase because it got counter. That should tell you really how good counter is. And a lot of these Mon are at the top too. Cetadile, Cetatan, I don't know what these even are. Clefairy got Swift as well. Yeah, that's like Cetadile, Cetotal, Cetitan. Yeah, you see these things got huge buffs. Actually, you know what? Now I might try this Mon, low kicks, because I didn't realize it got counter. and counter is so OP, you might as well try it out. Anyways, so those are the changes that we've seen. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's, well, there can't be less. Maybe there's going to be more. This is the earliest Niantic's ever put this video or put this changes thing out. So for next season. So I mean, big props to Niantic. To be honest, a lot of people hate on Niantic for being so slow or non-transparent, but I mean, this time they did well. I mean, you can't really say anything bad on this one. So, and they listened to the Scald nerfs rather, so that's nice. But yeah, a lot of new mon to try out in the season. We're gonna see a lot less Whiscash, but I'm scared that we're still gonna be in this RPS meta with Whiscash, Lantern, Annihilate, Skarmory. Yeah, really kind of like Skarmory Gligar thing's been happening forever, and it's going to continue to happen, I think. So thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you have not, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton. And let's get ready for next season. If you don't have these mons, start trying to find them in the wild, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.